What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Check this out, man. Pepper. Back at Pepper's channel. Epstein's scandal explored again, exposing new, brutal Elon Musk details. Elon Musk details, man. Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Appreciate all our subscribers. Appreciate everybody, man, who support the channel. Thank y'all so much. That don't come lightly. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy. Yeah. My bad, y'all. The mute button was on. Here we go.
Elon Musk didn't hold back after Donald Trump called the federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein a hoax. On his social media site X, Musk responded with a sarcastic post. Wow, amazing that Epstein himself and Ghislaine is in federal prison for a hoax. He was clearly questioning how the case could be fake if people were actually sent to prison. Musk added, he should just release the files and point out which part is the hoax, referring to the government's refusal to share documents about the case. He also wondered if Epstein really took his own life, especially since Epstein's own family believe his life was taken in prison.
Well, wow. I have received threats through the years, but it's also because this is not about me. This is about Jeffrey and what happened to Jeffrey. So I don't need to be seen. My location doesn't need to be known because, again, this is not about me.
All right. So what do you believe? You've been very outspoken lately. What do you believe actually happened to your brother?
I believe he was killed because I believe that after a day after he died, because when he first died, and I heard on CNN that he was found, dead from a assumed suicide. I was traveling when I heard that, and the government didn't notify me as they claimed they did. I heard it on CNN. And I had no reason to doubt that he committed suicide because he was in prison. I know he was facing a potentially long jail sentence, and I know he wouldn't want to live that way, and he had no dependents, he had no children, his parents are gone, he didn't have to worry about me. So I just assumed, because, you hear that, there's no reason to question it. I wasn't happy about it, but I respected his decision. And because I wasn't up on all the details of his case, I wasn't following it. But after the death, and the very next morning, I had to go back to New York to identify his body because I'm the next of kin. And they did the autopsy. And both forensic pathologists that were there, Dr. Roman from the city, it was technically her autopsy, and I had Dr. Barden there because I have the right to have a pathologist there. They came out of the autopsy, and they both concurred that this looked more like a homicide than a suicide. And that started raising questions because I thought they'd walk out of the room and say, yeah, unfortunately, your brother committed suicide. And that would be the end of it. Trust me.
Mark, what specifically did they say to make it think that it was a homicide and not a suicide?
Well, one of the major things was the 3 broken bones in his neck. Now, Dr. Barden has done about 500 autopsies. He's been doing this for over 50 years. So nobody has more experience with prison deaths than Dr. Barden. He was put on a special commission in New York State after the Attica riots in 1970 to investigate prison deaths. So again, no one has more experience than him. And I've spoken to other pathologists, and they say, on a soft hanging, which is supposedly what Jeffrey was supposed to have done, you might get a broken bone, maybe 2, but no one's ever seen 3 broken bones in this kind of hanging. There was another pathologist showed me a report out of the Philippines where they were investigating broken bones in hangings. And they spoke about a certain percentage have 1 broken bone and a smaller percentage have 2, but there was no mention of 3 broken bones. So that was one of the major factors here.
And it gets a lot more suspicious. Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark, also claims that the person in the Epstein footage doesn't even look like him.
And Dr. Sampson, who declared it by the chief medical examiner, she never saw the body. She wasn't there.
But what about the video? We know that the cell video, the jail video from inside that corridor was released.
Okay.
Does that not prove?
No, because that video doesn't show where Jeff was. They're trying to make it sound like it's showing Jeff's cell door. That was not Jeff's cell door. I have photographs of his actual cell door. They've been released. They're out there. I've also had a photograph of the tier he was on. Now, in that video, in the beginning of the video, they're talking about they're walking Jeffrey into his cell. Number one, you can't tell that that's Jeffrey in that video. I try to blow it up. You can't tell who that person is from the video. And you can't just walk somebody into Jeffrey's cell that way. To get into his cell, which was on the maximum security tier, you have to go up a little flight of stairs. You have to go through a door. It's a locked bar door. And then you go into the tier, and Jeffrey's cell was the first tier to the right. If you look into
excuse me for asking this. How do you know that, though, if you were never able to visit him there? Were you given a tour?
Because soon after the death, we got the photographs that was taken by the medical examiner's office when they went to investigate. Before it was declared a suicide, I have photographs of his cell. I have photographs of the tier. I have photographs of the entrance of the tier. This was given to me, not that long after the death. So these are original photographs of what the place really was. That video is bullshit. I don't know a better term.
No, it's fine, but this is what's more important, though, at this point, because who do you believe had a motive and the power to have your brother inside the jail?
Well, it's an excellent question. I as I've said many times in these interviews, I don't like to speculate. I like to stick with fact.
And this is obviously a big deal because it has led to a lot of public outcry demanding an investigation into Trump and the Epstein files. Trump knows this is becoming a problem, so he went on the offensive against his own supporters on Wednesday. He called them weaklings for believing that the government might be hiding important details about Epstein's case. He also called any Republicans who question the case stupid and foolish.
The political debacle saddling Donald Trump over the course of this weekend and boiling over tonight is widely viewed on the right as his biggest problem with his base in this young presidency. A, quote, huge risk to his hold on the party, even the coming midterms. That's from his allies. Headlines screaming about a, quote, rebellion or revolt against Trump. A politician who's certainly benefited from loyalty and a type of perception of almost lockstep, unassailable MAGA loyalty is now finding it clearly in danger. The president's broken vow that he would release all this Jeffrey Epstein material and the Trump administration's quite obvious mishandling of aspects of this case, and certainly the messaging, something they're usually kind of good at, has boomeranged. The false statements, busted claims from the president on down to his attorney general. All of this has become the problem on the right. It was the controversy at a MAGA gathering just this weekend that had plenty of bold-faced MAGA names.
How many of you are not satisfied with the results of the investigation?
What I'm getting at is at some point, we want answers at some point.
Yeah, answer the questions. That's it. Who went to Epstein Islands? Who specifically went on the plane? Who stayed for more than a night?
Working on behalf of Intel Services, probably not American.
Release all the Epstein files, no matter the consequences.
There is no way that we are going to act like the proven harm and abuse that Jeffrey Epstein has caused never happened.
And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working?
If you want the full release of documents, the special prosecutor gets it, and here's why. Epstein is a key that picks the lock on so many things.
It went on and on and on like that. And if you live in that universe of politics or you follow that kind of media, what you saw there is not new. That's a crescendo over the past week and the past years, because the conspiracies and the content that power so many MAGA voices for their audiences, for their online profits, and for their political heat make this particular topic an obvious public betrayal, one that they cannot abide, not in front of their audiences. People have been promised a payoff for many years on this one. So now President Trump and his top aides are engulfed by the very kind of conspiracy theory that they spent so many years promoting, apparently without a lot of forethought about how it would land if they were in charge again. And we're seeing calls for a so-called accountability for their own leaders who claimed one thing and then did the opposite.
Many of Trump's supporters in the Make America Great Again movement are upset. They believe the government might be protecting powerful people connected to Epstein, some of whom were close to Trump himself. In a long post on his own social media platform, Truth Social, Trump said that people were falling for a made-up story pushed by his political enemies. He called it the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and accused his former supporters of believing lies. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, he wrote. They haven't learned their lesson, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. He went on to say that if those supporters wanted to keep believing in that theory, then he didn't want their support anymore. But is that really true? Several reputable people who were in the know about Trump and Epstein during the years they worked together say it isn't. I mean, case in point, Pam Bondi, the much-respected Republican Attorney General, literally claimed she had the Epstein client list on his desk for review.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Trump's response to this was weak to say the least.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job. And I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also. But I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important. And you want credible evidence for something like that. And I think the Attorney General's handled it very well.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the UN? A bullshit. Specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing. And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden information. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
Later, during an interview on a right-wing media outlet, Trump doubled down and said the FBI should investigate what he called the Epstein hoax as part of a bigger effort to hurt him politically. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats, Trump said. He also said some Republicans were too naive and were falling for it. On Truth Social, several people replied to Trump's post, asking why he hasn't shared more information.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
Over the last few days, a number of members of your caucus have been posting and engaging in some discourse about Jeffrey Epstein. Is this appropriate for your members to be doing so? Do you want to see any action on that front?
The American people deserve to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to this whole sordid Jeffrey Epstein matter. Democrats didn't put the Jeffrey Epstein thing into the public domain. This was a conspiracy that Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and these MAGA extremists have been fanning the flames of for the last several years. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. The American people deserve to know the truth. What, if anything, is the Trump administration and the Department of Justice hiding? What are you hiding? If you're not hiding anything, prove that to the American people. And if you are trying to hide something, as many of Donald Trump's MAGA supporters apparently believe, then the Congress should actually work hard to try to uncover the truth for the American people. There are only two things that are possible here. Option 1, Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and the MAGA extremists intentionally lied to the American people for years about the Jeffrey Epstein situation. That's option 1. Option 2 is that, in fact, there's reason for the American people to be concerned as it relates to what information has not been released that could be damaging to the Trump administration and the friends and family of the Trump administration and their billionaire corrupt supporters. And so they're actively engaging in a cover-up. Option 1, they lied for years. Option 2, they're engaging in a cover-up.
Trump's angry reaction this week is different from how he talked about the case before. On Tuesday, he tried to brush it off by calling the investigation boring. Although he said he was okay with releasing credible documents, without saying which ones those were. When reporters asked why he thought his supporters cared so much about the Epstein case, Trump said, "I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff." He went on to say, "I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it." Trump has often used conspiracy theories to fire up his base, like the idea that the government is secretly controlled by powerful insiders. But now, that same group is turning the spotlight back on him. For once, they're asking tough questions, and they're not happy with the answers they're getting.
Maria Farmer, I think she was the chick who was working the front desk at his office in Manhattan. She was literally on video saying that all this shit about Bill Clinton on the jet, going to the island, hanging out with Trump and all this stuff. And the right-wing people, like people I know, my parents and like older folks I know in Florida, will say, you know, she came out, thank you for exposing Bill Clinton for being a pedo and doing all this stuff. And Virginia Giuffre, after this happened, she's like, you guys didn't listen to the whole tape. She's like, I was telling you that Trump was at the penthouse 3 days a week and visiting him, but you guys don't want to hear that. And it's like, you know, it's just this weird thing. Like if you do the math, there's gotta be so many high level powerful people that are somehow compromised. Jeffrey Epstein, I think it's super plausible to assume that he would try to trick them with like a girl who looks old, right? Who is possibly like on the borderline of being 18. And you say, oh yeah, this girl, she's 18, 19, 20, whatever. Meanwhile, she's like 17 and they had no idea and they have video footage. And in like a court of law, if I'm the judge, I'm gonna let them, like, of course they lied to him. And this is not like some young girl, obviously, but they lied. Yeah. But like in like the court of public opinion, you're never going to win in that case, right? Like if that comes out, you're fucked.
You're fucked. I mean, you're fucked if you just go into the island to bang hookers. Like it's like they're of age. Mm-hmm. It's still like whatever he was doing, you preyed on people's desire for experiences and vice.
Yes.
And all these powerful people who, again, they can't just go call over and goes, oh my God, I just blew Bill Gates. This is nuts. You know what I mean? Like you can't trust them.
Wow.
So you have to trust someone who really has a lockdown organization, and they felt like he did.
Yeah.
And that's why they all hung out with him even after he got arrested. This is what's crazy.
That is crazy.
A lot of Bill Gates meetings with him were after he was prosecuted, and he got this little slap on the wrist, and he got essentially home detainment. And I think he had to do like weekends at the jail. Was she from what paper? Vanity Fair. So she was responsible for like, because she was like, this is insane. Like, what's going on here? And then there was the sheriff that had arrested him, said that I was told he was intelligence. And I mean, you got to think, man, if a guy like that is running these kind of parties with all these rich and powerful people, how many different worldwide decisions can be manipulated because of these people and the compromises you have on them?
Right.
It's really a brilliant thing to do.
Yeah.
From an intelligence perspective.
Yeah, it really is, man. And like the way that the world is shaping out now, and this like rise of Jew hate online, is, and I think a lot of it's bots. I think it's coming from every angle. I think it's probably a lot of propaganda and bots coming from Iran, coming from Israel, Saudi. Who knows where it's all coming from? It's just such a confusing crock of shit on the internet. But on one hand, they were able to pull off some incredible operations. And, on the other hand, we get mad. Now that it gets exposed, we get mad that they have their hooks in us, and the people that are in power, whatever the politicians are, the puppets, just bend the knee to whatever they're doing. And it gets exposed when people like Tucker did that interview with Ted Cruz. Mm-hmm. And he had him on his heels the whole time. That was incredible. That was a biblical interview with Ted Cruz, and that really pulled the mask off, because if that guy is explaining his position on Israel, being in Congress, and that's his number one thing that made him want to be a congressman, it's what are all these other people doing then? If there's all this money, and you can see the receipts, how much money they're being given by these lobbies. But how mad can you get because we let them do it? They're legally allowed to do it.
Yeah, you could be mad, but you really should be mad at the politicians.
Yeah.
The corrupt politicians, and how many of them there are. And look at the mayoral race, where they all were saying, my first trip, I'm going to go to Israel.
Oh, yeah, except for the dude, for, what's his name?
Won.
He said he's going to stay in New York.
The communist, yeah.
Last week, the Justice Department and FBI wrapped up a review of the Jeffrey Epstein case and confirmed that Epstein died by suicide. They also said there was no secret client list waiting to be released to the public. Trump and Epstein had known each other for years. They moved in the same wealthy circles in New York and Florida. Back in 2002, Trump told New York Magazine that he had known Epstein for 15 years, calling him a terrific guy and saying he was a lot of fun to be with. In that same interview, Trump also said, "It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." But in 2019, after Epstein got arrested again, Trump changed his tone. "I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him," he said. "I don't think I've spoken with him for 15 years. I was not a fan." Now, there's a bipartisan push for more transparency.
Now to Washington and the White House facing mounting bipartisan pressure to release documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. We're also learning new details about the letter the Wall Street Journal says Trump allegedly wrote to Epstein. The president saying the letter doesn't exist, now filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, President Trump pushing back, acknowledging his administration's move to unseal grand jury records in the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein may never be enough to satisfy his critics. Trump writing on social media, "Even if the court gave its full and unwavering approval, nothing will be good enough for the troublemakers and radical left lunatics making the request. It will always be more, more, more." But much of the pressure to do more is coming from some of the president's longtime supporters.
I want every email from Epstein. Why not? Why not? Oh, it might embarrass people. I don't care. Don't care. We don't care now anymore. We're done.
Releasing the grand jury transcripts could be a long process and would not fulfill his team's campaign promises to release the full FBI files on Epstein.
The public is not clamoring for the release of a redacted version of the grand jury transcripts. They're calling for the release of the entire file.
Epstein died by suicide in jail in 2019, shortly after his arrest on charges of sex trafficking and sexual abuse. Many of Trump's allies, including his FBI director Kash Patel and his deputy Dan Bongino, pushed Epstein conspiracies for years.
I don't trust any story they tell me about Jeffrey Epstein. There is a reason this client list is hidden.
Earlier this year, Attorney General Pam Bondi said she had that list. Then just weeks ago, the Justice Department and FBI said the list did not exist and that they would not release any more information about Epstein, sparking outrage from the president's base. Trump gave the order to his Justice Department to release the grand jury transcripts just hours after the Wall Street Journal reported on a letter Trump allegedly sent Epstein for his birthday in 2003. ABC News has not confirmed the existence of the letter. Trump is now filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the paper, including its conservative owner Rupert Murdoch. In the lawsuit, Trump alleges the Journal falsely claimed that he authored, drew, and signed a letter to Epstein containing salacious language within a hand-drawn naked woman, which was created with a heavy marker, and that no authentic letter or drawing exists. Dow Jones, the parent company of the Wall Street Journal, says they are standing by their reporting.
But Whit, it's going to be a while until the public sees any new information on this case. Grand jury testimonies are highly protected, and releasing them requires approval from a federal judge. Whit.
For years, the Epstein case has been a hot topic online, especially among conspiracy theorists and internet detectives trying to link his actions to major political figures from both parties. People have been fascinated by the story because the first time Epstein faced charges, the case ended with a strange plea deal. Many felt the punishment didn't match the seriousness of the accusations, which involved him paying young girls for massages. In July 2019, Epstein was arrested again, this time on more serious federal charges. A month later, he died by suicide in jail while waiting for his trial. His sudden death only added more fuel to the fire, with many people suspecting that powerful individuals may have tried to cover up their ties to him. Earlier this year, former Trump officials, including Pam Bondi, released what they called Phase 1 of the Epstein files. But when the documents came out, people were disappointed. Most of it had already been made public in the past. Now, there's even an extremely incriminating birthday letter released to the public by the Wall Street Journal, where Trump is wishing Epstein a happy birthday.
The Wall Street Journal just published an explosive story about Donald Trump and the late child trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we have known that they were friends for years, hence the photo you're looking at. Yeah. We've exhaustively documented on this very program their long relationship, including the footage you are seeing of the two men dancing and leering at women at Mar-a-Lago. We know that one of Epstein's late accusers, Virginia Giuffre, says she was recruited into Epstein's circle at Mar-a-Lago when she was a teenager. And of course, Donald Trump went on the record with New York Magazine in 2002 to talk about how much Epstein likes to date young women. Quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy," Trump booms from a speakerphone. "He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." But tonight, the Wall Street Journal says it has newly discovered textual evidence of the friendship between Trump and Epstein and the kinds of interests they shared in Donald Trump's own words. According to the Journal, Epstein's disgraced associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, put together a leather-bound book of letters from Epstein's associates to give the disgraced financier for his 50th birthday back in 2003. The naked woman was a typewritten note styled as an imaginary conversation between Trump and Epstein, written in the third person. I'll read it to you here. Voiceover. "There must be more to life than having everything," the note began. "Donald, yes there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, yes we do, come to think of it. Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Trump, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." The paper also notes, quote, "In an interview with the Journal on Tuesday evening, Trump denied writing the letter or drawing the picture. 'This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story,' he said. 'I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women,' he said. 'It's not my language. It's not my words.' He told the Journal he was preparing to file a lawsuit if it published an article. 'I'm going to sue the Wall Street Journal just like I sued everyone else,' he said." Now, to be clear, it is not known if these letters, this letter in particular and the collection in the bound book, are part of the Trump administration's recent review of Epstein documents.
Since then, Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel have been working with dozens of agents and prosecutors to go through the rest of the Epstein case files. People familiar with the process said it's been a challenge figuring out how to handle the information carefully, especially if some of the names mentioned in the documents are innocent and could have their reputations harmed by being linked to the case. Even so, pressure to release the files hasn't stopped, especially from right-wing voices online. Many of them keep asking for a client list, but that term doesn't really match what's been found so far. What's known is that Epstein regularly hired girls to come to his homes under the excuse of giving massages, which would quickly turn inappropriate. For now, the public is still waiting for phase 2 of the files to be released, and it's unclear when that will happen. What are your thoughts on the situation? Let us know in the comments.
Man, Trump, he knew from the jump that his name was on the list. He was trying to figure a way to get his name off the list and keep everybody else on the list. But if his name was taken off the list, some of these high up people would say, well, he was on the plane with me. Why his name ain't on the list? And then that would have came up with a whole different bag of worms, I guess. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go. But I do know one thing. He said and she said that they was going to release the list, and they still haven't released the list yet. I think a lot of presidents and stuff is on there. That's their way of partying. I think these people really like undercover going to an island and playing around with all these young, beautiful girls. I mean, they beautiful, but they young. So it's a no-no. Look here, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. I don't know. Only thing I know is I know my name ain't on the list. Shoot, I can't afford to put my name on the list. And if it was on the list, I wouldn't go. Nuh-uh, I can't do that, man. I'm sorry. That's just me. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.